There was a time when electricity stirred emotion, when street lamps gave way to incandescent bulbs, and the flicker of a projector made us forget about old grainy photos. Electricity was once a luxury. When done right, it still is. The all-electric Lexus RZ. Because the greatest measure of an automobile is how it makes you feel. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
New year, your vibe, your place. At the YMCA of Greater Richmond, you'll find flexible fitness options, classes, and community, all designed to fit your life. Join now. No contracts, no joining fees. Check out ymcarichmond.org or drop in today.
Your spine is more than bones. It's every step and movement you make. At Riverside Health Spine Services, our neurosurgical precision helps you move forward with confidence. Because when it comes to your spine, precision matters.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Welcome indeed to Friday. Super Bowl weekend. Can you believe it? It feels like it's been Christmas last week. And we're looking at the Super Bowl already, guys. Can you believe it? Absolutely insane how time flies, especially when you're having fun. Right, guys? So, first thing we're going to talk about, of course, is Super Bowl Sunday. First things first, though, real quick. Those of you guys on Instagram that are joining my live, I appreciate you. But in my bio is the link to my YouTube. I cannot see any chats on my Instagram because my phone's up there. So the only way that I can see chats is if you come to my YouTube, and if you actually put a chat in there, I'll be able to see what you're saying. I'll be able to interact with you. But yeah, the YouTube link in my bio, you'll be able to actually chat with me tonight. So hope you guys join me. We're going to be talking about a lot today. So, first things first. Super Bowl Sundays. I'm the only thing that brings you from Instagram to YouTube, Allison. I appreciate that. I really do. And part of this is to expand, my social media presence so you guys can talk to me, right? But, so I do follow football very closely. For those who watch me, they know that I have a certain football team. So, a little bit of background on me, guys. For those who are brand new, right? So, my name is Keith. I'm an Iraq War veteran. I was under fire for 6 months from rockets and mortars when I was in the Iraq War. And while I was in Iraq, the Colts would play around 1 o'clock in the morning, Iraqi time. Right? Something like that. It was in the middle of the morning. And so I quickly became a Colts fan. So with football, American football means quite a bit to me. The only team that could really play against the Patriots at the time because of, Tom Brady was Peyton Manning. So I quickly became a Peyton Manning and Indianapolis Colts fan. So the day I came back from Iraq was Super Bowl weekend. And so this is the weekend that I came back from Iraq. So Super Bowl Sunday means quite a bit to me. It's a family weekend for me. It's a special weekend for me and my wife. We had, it was really special when I came back, we ended up getting married after we got engaged. So So a little bit of the background right there. So the Seahawks and the Patriots are playing this weekend, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think is going to happen. So, a couple of weeks ago, in the divisional playoffs, the Patriots played the Houston Texans. And at the time that I was watching the game, the Houston Texans turned over the ball 5 times. The Houston Texans turned over the ball 5 times, and the game still went into overtime. So, when we talk about what's going to happen in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks has a legendary defensive team. And the Patriots went into overtime with a team that turned over the ball 5 times. My money is on the Seahawks every day of the week. That's who I think is going to win. Yeah, here's the thing. When you have haters on both sides, you have haters on the left and the right, you know you're doing something right. Because now you're in the middle. Right? So, my prediction this weekend, because I know something about football, right? I know quite a bit about football, actually. The Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. That's my first prediction. For those who are tagging along. So, let's get serious now, though. Because we got some serious shit to talk about tonight. We really do. We have some serious shit to talk about tonight. Shit that's going to involve Congress. So let me lay out the entire situation about the Epstein files. You all have seen my videos and the rage that I have for how they redacted the perpetrators, the people who sent these emails saying thank you for the torture video. They redacted the perpetrators. So this is what Congress needs to do. And I hope somebody sees this eventually that can make an influence in Congress. But this is what needs to happen next. Congress needs to pass another law. And they need to say that any perpetrator of wrongdoing in any circumstance is completely unredacted. Period. Have I made myself clear? Every single perpetrator that has sent an email or has an image or does something in the Epstein files is unredacted, regardless of any open investigation. Period. that's what you do. I just solved the entire Epstein file crisis for everybody. Pass another law right now. Make it unanimous this time. Every single perpetrator that was in a draft indictment, that was in an email sending to, saying thank you for the torture videos and when can I come and visit your fucking island? You can tell I get pissed off about the Epstein files. These are children. Imagine for a second, you are 15, 14, something like that. And somebody comes to you and says, you know what? I got a job for you for massages. I'll give you a couple $1,000. You have to travel for a little bit. I'll give you a massage. Right? Massage job. At 14, 15 years old, if you're trying to specialize in that field, you can see somebody trying to take that job. Seriously, you could. Somebody's already thinking about their future, trying to get certified in a masseuse, something like that. You could see somebody trying to pursue a career like that. What's up, bud? Khal Drago. People have been telling me that I look like Khal Drago. I need to lose some more weight in the face, I think. But here's the thing. You got 14, 15-year-old children that don't really understand what they're doing, and then they get sent to a location where they have to travel. And then they're told when they get there, I'll give you another certain amount of money to do other things. That's human trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of doing terrible things to children in 2008. 2008. And we have people like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and Stephen Bannon. Makes me want to spit saying that guy's name. That are visiting him almost a decade after he is put on the sex offender registry. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Steve Bannon is looking to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein's image by filming a documentary in 2018. Stephen Bannon, the architect of the Make America Great Again movement. The idea is great. I love the idea of making America great. I love the idea of making America first. Love it. Steve Bannon bastardized it. Steve Bannon corrupted what was supposed to be making America first. Posting a social media post of Barack and Michelle Obama as apes is nothing along the lines of making America great again or making America first. It's not. And Donald Trump today and his administration defended that post up until the last moment. Until a black Republican came out and said this was the most racist thing I've ever fucking seen. At that point, when Donald Trump's political situation started to change, that's when they removed the post. And then they blame that post, the whole thing, on a staffer. See, here's the problem with that. And the administration is so fucking stupid by the way that they handled this. In technology, there is always a way to find out what location or where you are or what login you are using for any post. It's logged throughout the entire system as you are posting things. Trump says that a staffer sent this. Okay, he said that. After Trump is not president anymore, there's going to be a way to be able to look exactly where and what location that exact post was sent. We're going to be able to see where Donald Trump was out on that day. And we're going to be able to see who posted what where. We're not going to be able to see it now. Of course, everybody knows where that post came from now. But to be able to prove it, it will have to be until after Trump is not president anymore. Now, speaking of that, Donald Trump also said this week that he wanted to federalize or nationalize federal elections. Now, the Constitution says that the states are to administer their individual elections and the electors, right? Donald Trump wants to centralize all of these elections for the midterms. So, what does that mean? I have told you guys in the past that I consider Donald Trump himself as a national socialist. What does that mean? That does not mean that I'm saying Donald Trump himself is a Yahtzee. I'm not saying that. For example, Mussolini was a national socialist. So was Hitler. But Hitler and Mussolini were very different on how they carried out National Socialism. Right? So when I say that Donald Trump is a National Socialist, That's what I mean. He's not quite literally a Yahtzee, but he is a National Socialist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So now he's trying to centralize elections in direct violation of the Constitution. Sure quite sounds like a National Socialist to me. Now here's the thing. People in the 1920s, when the National Socialists were established, they knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they knew who their enemy was. The enemy to National Socialism is socialism, communism, right? So, to confuse the masses and to turn people away from socialism, they created a party called the Germans Workers' Party. And they established a political movement called National Socialism. It was intended to be worded that way to trick the masses, to make them think that they were moving towards a socialist ideology, when in reality they became fans of what was going on, like fanatical about what was going on. You have to understand, in Italy and Germany, the price of bread rose from around 1 marks in the early 1920s to an inflation of over 1 trillion% because reparations. To the individual person that is working 60, 80 hours a week, and they can't even afford bread, you'll believe everything that you have to feed your family. That's exactly the psychological warfare that happened to 1920s and 1930s Germany. So that's exactly my thinking about where we are in the world today. Yeah, you're right. The dollar is about to plummet. So after this whole Iranian crisis is over, which will probably be over by the end of February, is my thoughts, Donald Trump is going back to Greenland. That's exactly where he's going. He's going right back to Greenland. And the Europeans and Canada together has something like between 35 and 40% of the entire market value of the dollar in individual investments. Trump is going to make a move on Greenland, and he's going to have people dumping our bonds. That's exactly what's about to happen. So, speaking of the Iranian crisis, my goodness gracious. This has been weeks in the making, guys. So, the Iranian crisis, the coup de grace for today. So, the United States has moved multiple assets into the region. The estimated cost of the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier alone, just to move it, is $8 million per day. Now, the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has 2 destroyers that tag along with it. Not to mention that we have two other carrier strike groups that are in the Persian Gulf now, and we have another destroyer strike group with anti-missile capability in the Mediterranean, right off the coast of Israel. We are locked and loaded and ready to go right now. In fact, geopolitical analysts, including myself, thought that we were going to attack Iran 2 weeks ago. We had the capability to take down the Iranian regime 2 weeks ago. In fact, I thought that was going to happen. And we have brought more firepower into the region since I have said that. In fact, we brought 2 more strike groups into the region since I thought the U.S. was going to strike Iran 2 weeks ago. So, let me make a military assessment for you guys here on the actual, so we're not talking about the peace talks yet. We're talking about the military assessment. Okay? In 2017, the F-35 strike fighter was being tested in war games. The United States sent 20 F-15 Strike Eagles against a single F-35 strike fighter. The F-35 shot every single one of them down. The most advanced proven aircraft that Iran has is the F-4. They had F-14s, but they are unproven, probably inoperable because of sanctions and other things. The countermeasures on these ships counter every single rocket or drone that can be shot at any U.S. personnel. We have these entire fleets, this armada that is in the region, and then we have bases such as Al Udeid, and Israel has more F-35s. I want to make one thing clear. If the United States decides to attack, the Iranian regime is capable of causing pain. They are capable of causing pain, but there is absolutely zero chance of victory. So that's the military assessment. Is that if an attack is launched, the Iranian regime will cause a lot of pain. They really will. But as far as the end state, there's no chance. So let's talk about the talks in Oman today. So Iran and the U.S. held indirect talks today. And basically what that meant is that the U.S. gave a message to the Omanian foreign minister, and that Omanian foreign minister went to the Iranian foreign minister. You guys remember what it was like in high school? I'm not talking to you, but I have a friend in the middle. Like, it is so immature how global politics works. It really is. Like, I'm not talking to you. You're going to have to talk to them. What the fuck, guys? Anyways. So, the U.S. would give Oman its demands. Oman would give the U.S. demands to Iran. Then Iran would give a message to Oman. And then Oman would give that message to the U.S. And so basically what happened after the end of these talks today was that there was an agreement that they will continue talks, and they plan to hold talks on Sunday, I think. That's what they said. So, what year did I graduate high school? I graduated high school January 2007. I need another 6 months. Then I jumped into the military in 2007. Okay, so the Iranian crisis situation. There's not going to be an attack this weekend. The U.S. and Iran have agreed through Oman, through an ally, that they're going to hold more talks through Sunday. Why is that important? The stock market closes on Friday at 5 p.m. That means that to avoid a stock market crash and to avoid hurting their friends in the elite, they have to make sure that the stock market closes before they launch an operation. That means that if an operation was successful by Monday, the stock market would never go down. And if it was successful, it would only go up. Right? So there is a window of opportunity where they can launch an attack on Iran. The window of opportunity is now for this weekend, but they have committed to more talks by Sunday, which means that by the agreement so far, they will not have an attack until at least next weekend when the stock market closes. Even if talks break down, I do not see them launching an attack during the middle of the week. It would crash the oil market. It would crash everything, really. Everything that needs fuel to operate would instantly crash. But if you do it after stock market closes, and if it's successful at the end of it, the stock market never goes down. That's the strategy. The window of opportunity to attack Iran will not open again until next Friday. That's the 13th of February. That is my exact thoughts. So, that's what I'm thinking for Iran. Nothing's going to happen until at least next weekend. Yep. The talks are to buy time. Exactly. Ryan's exactly right. It's to buy time. We're going to get through the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl itself is a distraction to the American psyche. Right? Everybody's paying attention to the Super Bowl. What happens the first weekend when there's no football? There's no more distraction. Right? No more distraction means that there's going to be action. No more distraction means that there's going to be action. Russia is so Blazin is asking here. Russia is a ally of Iran. Will Russia come to the aid of Iran? So, it's a very good question. So, let me lay out two very different scenarios here, okay? Let me give you a scenario where the U.S. attacks first, and there would be very clear overstepping of boundaries, right? Like documented, like very terrible things. Maybe even the U.S. uses nuclear weapons. Let's say that happens. Russia would immediately respond. Here's two reasons. The first reason is that we are going to build the Golden Dome. And on top of building the Golden Dome, which will give us a protection over these missiles, we have showed the intention of using nuclear weapons in a modest, small conflict, showing, basically disregard for their power. If that happens, which, God, man, I feel sad for saying this, but I could see it happening. If that happens, then Russia could respond in kind with using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. You see how the escalation happens here, right? So Poland is talking about what they should do with Russia right now. So imagine that you're Poland, and Poland watches a nuclear explosion in Ukraine. Imagine if that shit happens. Poland immediately launches a full-scale attack on Russia. The Baltic states probably join in. Germany is ready to fucking go right now. They'll be on the front lines of that shit right now. So if the U.S. detonates a nuclear weapon in Iran, we are quite literally in World War III. Escalation after escalation after escalation. Russia now has the notice of the Golden Dome. They know it's coming. Now here's the other scenario, which is what I hope happens. My hope is that peace talks succeed. Iran gives up its nuclear weapons program. They'll probably keep their ballistic missiles program with conventional weapons only. That's my thoughts. My hope is that the United States invests into Iran and U.S. contractors manage nuclear reactors in Iran. The United States manages the entire uranium enrichment process from start to finish and provides energy to Iran. That's what I hope happens. And I hope Iran eventually becomes a representative democracy instead of where the supreme leader can override their legislature and their president. Like their version of Congress over there can pass a law, their president can sign the law, and the supreme leader can veto the law with no repercussion. Like their legislature can't even challenge it. They cannot challenge it by law. That's quite literally Hitler today. So, those are the updates for this week. Let me open it up for questions. I'll give it the last, 8 minutes or so. You guys have any questions for me on YouTube? I'll be happy to take some. Just go ahead and type your question. We'll go through one at a time. And then we'll call it TGIF. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, guys. Remember, on Instagram, if you joined, I cannot see your comments. For you to be able to chat with me, you have to come over to YouTube. Can't see anything on Instagram. So swing over to YouTube. You can ask a question in the next 7 minutes or so. So while we're waiting for questions here, just a little bit more background about me. So I was born in California, raised in Montana. You guys see me out there on my reels and stuff. I'll be out there in a tank top in the snow. That's exactly why. I got some Montana blood, mountain blood. Alright, let's see here. We got any timeline on escalation between China and Taiwan. So, if we launch an attack, that was a good question, Sarah. If we launch an attack on Iran, the more stretched the United States becomes, the more likely these pressure points like North and South Korea and China and Taiwan become. So, if an attack happens on Iran, watch for any counters from China or North Korea. That's exactly what I would be looking for. It's a good question. Insights are much appreciated, Paul. I really appreciate that, and thank you for calling me brother. See, veterans, especially veterans of war, understand, certain things. We call each other brother, sister, etc. So, Paul, I appreciate that. Advice for civilians: listen to your local authorities with the insight of what's going on in the world. Keep yourself safe. Make sure that you have a bug out bag. Make sure that you have emergency rations. Canned food is probably the best thing that you can have. Go and spend $100 on canned food and just wipe your ass with that $100 and make sure that it's in there. Seriously, they can last for like 2 or 3 years. If you have the money, go and spend some money on some canned food. French media, I don't know anything about French media, fair devil. The Board of Peace. So, the Board of Peace is going to invest, these individual countries are going to invest billions of dollars into Gaza. I think it's going to become like a tech dystopia, unregulated, where they can have data centers and hotels and vacations. Have you guys seen the video of the technocrat of America? That's basically what Gaza is going to become. How am I doing mentally? It's a lot of pressure. 2 jobs, man. I'm the only income. You gotta figure shit out, right? Gotta do it. Sarah, who is trustworthy? So I take sources from CNN to Fox News to Al Jazeera to the Jerusalem Post, and I compare stories and I make my own decision, and I give you guys based on what I am observing, and I tell you guys what I think. I monitor everything. Seriously, it's an obsession. It's probably pretty bad. But, when I got back from Iraq, one of the very first things that I told myself when we found out that the weapons of mass destruction was a lie, one of the very first things that I told myself is that I would make sure that it would never happen again. And the reason why you see this hat, this will defend, it's part of the reason. So, for those who don't know, there's been over 3,500 deaths of American soldiers, airmen, Marines, sailors in the global war on terror. And at least half of it was based on a lie. And, I have you guys to talk about the impact of your mental health that happens based off of that. Imagine having projectiles over your head for 6 months, and then when you get back, you're told the entire experience in Iraq was based on a lie. Excuse my French, guys, but it fucks with you. There was one point that veterans were killing themselves 22 times per day. And I should have said unalived, but fuck it. This is fucking real life, guys. This is real life. They lied to us about Iraq. And 22 veterans killed themselves every day. It makes me sad, man. It really does. I've had friends Airman Bell. I went to basic training with in April 2007. And he served his country in Iraq. Senior Airman Bell was killed in an IED in Iraq based on a lie. And you can see why I fight so hard for my country. These motherfuckers are lying to you guys. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I do feel like you guys need to see this sometimes. You have to see what's going on. The human mind is not built to watch their country be disintegrated by lies. So, with that being said, guys, I appreciate all of you for watching. I'll be continuing with updates throughout the week, and I'm not going to take any days off. I'll continue talking to you guys. And I love you guys. I'll talk to you next time. See you guys later.
There was a time when electricity stirred emotion, when street lamps gave way to incandescent bulbs, and the flicker of a projector made us forget about old grainy photos. Electricity was once a luxury. When done right, it still is. The all-electric Lexus RZ. Because the greatest measure of an automobile is how it makes you feel. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
When it's time to scale your business, it's time for Shopify. Get everything you need to grow the way you want. Like, all the way. Stack more sales with the best converting checkout on the planet. Track your cha-chings from every channel, right in one spot. And turn real-time reporting into big-time opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
When you want your spring break to feel like... and your kids' pool day to feel like... and your hotel bed to feel like...